Hey everyone. So for a while, I've been interested in radio modules for the Eurorack. I thought it's a way to make cool noise, especially if it has CV inputs, where you could kind of run an LFO through the radio channels, through the static and through different things. I thought, yeah, it's a really cool way to create drones. Imagine just like sweeping the radio and just like, I don't know, whatever. Like, yeah, it's completely obvious, I guess, the idea. And also to make cool drums. Basically, you just have the radio and you'd have like an LFO sweeping it and you would gate it. And I don't know, like the ideas are endless. And yeah, just as a very cool source. So I started to get interested in this. And eventually I got the RF Nomad. And then after that, I had that for a few years. And then really quickly, kind of recently, I got another two radio modules. One of them is this VCRadio from XAudio Systems. And another one exists on the Koma Field Kit, which is there's lots of stuff here, but one of the features is a radio. So I kind of had some experience with this, and I'd like to maybe compare the three. There are a few other radios for Eurorack. Looks like varying qualities. I guess these are the main three, along with an ADAC Systems one that I don't have and actually don't intend to get. I'll let you know why in a second. So let's get to it. There's a lot to actually talk about over here because a lot of what you will be getting out of these radios really depends on so many factors. Let's get something straight. So for making cool drones and for making just sounds and or let's say as an interesting noise source that's not just like white or pink or whatever, like it's an alive noise source, they're all good for that. And they all have the CV, and they all can get modulated by CV, so I'm not going to dwell on that. They all can do that. But what I want to look at is how do they actually behave as radios? And you'll see that it's not so cut and dry. Now, the first thing, FM, AM, and shortwave. FM is super easy. If we go to, I think, let me see. So it's this one. This is now connected to FM. It's very easy to find stations, and even in good quality. And this one at the moment, it's not even actually connected to an external antenna. So FM is really easy to get if the module has FM. So this one has FM, AM, and shortwave. This one as well, but this one has only shortwave. Now, actually, shortwave is the most interesting, to be honest, because FM, it's just a lot of music, right, and a lot of just like regular things, and for that, I don't know. I mean, it's still cool to sweep the CV, but it's not really like science fiction and interesting, right? Whereas shortwave radio is super interesting because you could be catching just really oddities from like cross continents. Like you could be catching like political stuff from North Korea and China, or you could be catching some obscure thing that sounds really faint in some language you don't understand. So that is the really interesting thing. And all of them have shortwave, but this one has only shortwave. So that was what was interesting to me. Now, when I first got this module, it comes with a short antenna. It's basically the base for this, but I made it way longer. It's even going outside of my window and it's connecting outdoors to an antenna, and it's basically just you can take any piece of copper wire and make an antenna out of it. Anything will do. It doesn't need to be thick or anything. The more robust it is, obviously, it may be better for the elements if you're taking it outside. But any conducting sort of just this wire will actually already improve the reception. And this was the first kind of aha or disappointing moment, or when I understood that I don't know shit about this thing because I thought I could just plug it in. So obviously, the short antenna didn't work. When you buy the RF Nomad, you can actually invest and get a longer antenna, pay more money. I did that. So I ordered the longer antenna. That didn't work out either. And only when I really started kind of attaching stuff and experimenting with outdoor antennas did I start receiving any signals. Now, let's hear this guy for a minute because it has a lot of shortcomings. So if I pull this one up, and we're actually not going to be able to catch any stations, and I don't think so, at least. We'll see in a minute. So the first thing you hear is just tons and tons of noise, regardless of the fact that I'm not hooked to a station, fair enough, but you hear there's just lots of stuff going on in the spectrum. Now, this module, the way it works, this particular RF Nomad, and the developers say it's a feature. I don't know. For me, it's a bug. I didn't expect that. So again, cool noise for making shit, fine. But all this thing, it's really sensitive. It's picking up a lot of the noise from any electrical appliance basically here. Um, this amount of noise wasn't existing until I recently added. So this rack was kind of for a while there were missing modules here. So this was empty. This wasn't here. This wasn't here. A lot of stuff wasn't here, and it was kind of lonely on the side, and there was probably much less power being drawn. And then a lot of that noise went away. So automatically you pick up a lot of stuff from just just your systems and your basically your other modules even in your modular. So not all the modules. This one specifically, that's the way this one works. Again, it's supposedly a feature where it's like, oh, cool, you pick up frequencies and shit. But I don't know, that's not the intention, dude. Like, it's supposed to be a radio. So that's the first thing. The second thing about it is that, and again, we're going to have a really hard time just because of this, but the tuning, if I start moving it, you will hear the carrier wave, that sort of oscillation. Even this is hard to hear at the moment. There you go. So the way this works, actually, like that's the way radio works, but it's giving you all, it's not demodulating, it's not doing anything. Basically, to find a station, you need to hear you find somewhere where you start to hear this oscillation. You hear the pitching going up and down, and then at some point, let's say it starts to go. I hope we catch something here. It's really, but that's the module. Okay, so we're right here. You hear a toot, and one side you see it goes higher, and then it goes higher again. And now I'm going lower, and higher. You should hit a point where you don't hear the carrier wave anymore, and that is actually a station. So right now, almost, with this module, we're tuned to not anymore. Right now, we're kind of tuned to a station. But again, we're not hearing anything because of the shortcomings a little bit of the module. If I were to take this and maybe put it in a completely empty rack and kind of isolate it electronically, maybe but still. I had good nights with this when it was really alone and when I really kind of did everything I could just to help this guy out over here. The second thing you noticed that I was doing is I was actually, so the tuning knob, it's super sensitive. If I just go like this, I maybe passed 10 stations, like, and you would never hear anything. You need to be, it's beyond insane. You just need to move so slow. I never experienced something like this, like really slow. And even then, you oftentimes you'll get really close, but you'll have a really hard time to find the actual spot. So what I do is I patch in some CV, and I'm using my MIDI input over here. That actually the Machina Plus is going into this MIDI input, and then I'm taking the mod wheel basically. So this is the mod wheel from the Machina Plus. I'm taking it, I'm feeding it into the CV, and then I can attenuate the CV. So I give it, so it really affects just a tiny area, and I use that to try to find the station. But again, on a good night, which brings me to another topic: time of day. This is super crucial with shortwave. So the way shortwave works, do I have my little picture here of shortwave? So imagine you're here broadcasting. And if it's FM radio, FM will just broadcast to the area and you pick up and whatever. Shortwave is broadcast basically into the atmosphere, into the ionosphere, and it bounces off the ionosphere and then returns to Earth. So that's how it can travel literally thousands of kilometers, and that's how you can pick up broadcasts like being broadcast from North Korea. On the other hand, if you're somewhere in the middle, like if you're super close, maybe you don't get anything because it didn't bounce yet. So it's like super weird the way it works, and the way the ionosphere behaves. I'm not really deep into the science, but at night you get much better reception on shortwave than during the day. It's just the way it works. So you also are dependent on time of day. So even if you say, oh wow, okay, I caught something, I know where it is, I'm going to leave it kind of like this, maybe I need to tune it, and then you have a gig some afternoon, and yeah, you just don't get reception because it's not the right time. It's not the same time as you had it before. All right, but that's this module. So again, you could have nice moments with it. Another super weird thing, like even the antenna, it's super sensitive. Like you see, I have like 2 antennas basically clipped here. That's weird. I shouldn't be needing to do this. It's just, I don't know, sometimes like it works good with like just its own antenna. Sometimes like, so other antennas actually interfere. So this could be interfering with this. And sometimes I need to kind of ground this guy and suddenly there's less noise. Or sometimes I actually need to make them touch each other and there's less noise. There's so many factors involved, and me not being an expert, like I'm trying to kind of get into it a little more, but it's just, there's a lot, and so much trial and error. It's kind of fun, the trial and error, but there's a lot of error as well. All right, so that's this module. And then maybe before we go on, let's talk really quickly about antennas. So again, I said you could just do anything from any kind of piece of wire. This one has like an input where you can, like it came with this thing, but it actually ends in just some wires. So you could easily attach other things to it. This one came with its own antenna, but it's totally only for FM is easy. We're talking about shortwave. Let's talk about AM in the end because it's the least interesting. But for shortwave, this is also not enough. I have to clip one of my other antennas to it. So something like this, or I take this guy. Actually like this antenna the best, so I clip it, and then you can hear a little bit better. But let's move on now to the Koma Field. Oh, okay. By the way, this guy costs, so I don't know. I think it's actually kind of hard to find. I see it on Perfect Circuit in the US. They say it's usually $175 and now $150. I'm not sure. I think I paid something like the like the $175, but in euros back when I got it. All right. The Koma Field Kit. Again, this thing is actually worth it in any case because it has so much stuff on it. In any case, it's like really sweet and really cool. But yeah, it has the radio, and this is a little bit more elaborate already. It has AM, FM, and shortwave. It also does the proper demodulating, so you don't get that stupid oscillation. I don't get that. It's not a feature. Like, guys, really seriously, if I wanted an oscillator with my noise, I just put an oscillator. I don't get it. This thing doesn't do it. It's actually way better in that sense. So FM is super easy. Well, let's do this though. Let's take the antenna here. Where is my antenna? So is it? Oh, okay, it's this guy. So basically, these come in really handy. These little alligator clips, because you can kind of I can clip them to my different antennas and stuff. Actually, I don't need both. All right, so that's actually cool to show. So I can experiment. So these two are a little bit different in my yard, and I can experiment and see what works and what doesn't work. So we attached it to this one. And yeah, maybe before we go on, this is a little bit of a shortcoming with this one. You see the inputs here? They're literally little holes where you have to kind of take a piece of wire like this thin and like stick it in here. And like, seriously, like everything about this thing is cool, but I don't understand this. So I stuck my little piece of wire somehow. My eyes also aren't that great. I used a magnifying glass. It's bonkers. And I took a piece of tape. I taped it here. And I kind of have my permanent thing here set up. So I have this taped. So I don't need to kind of do that over and over again. That's insane. So I have the alligator clip. And yeah, that's like the only way I can actually fathom working with this. So anyways, FM we said is in any case easy. But with the antenna, it's just... Even without, you see, but you hear noise. Once I connect my outdoor antenna, it becomes like super clean and stuff. It's very easy to find stations, of course, in FM, almost in any country that you'd be in. But let's try the shortwave here. Immediately we caught a station. That's amazing. We so much struggled with this guy, right? And this is not so bad.
Za ta karfafa tsarin baye ta hanyar kimiyyar zamani wanda zai kara wa shanunmu na gida sinadaran
This is so cool. I have to record it, so I'm going to record it a little bit. I'm not sure. I don't recognize the language. I don't know what they're speaking. Maybe something from Africa, though, kind of. It's really, really cool when you start catching things. Let's try to catch something else. So a thing is, this is also, it's maybe not as sensitive as this one, but it is also really, really sensitive. And here, if I enter some CV, it takes over the search. So you don't have like tune and fine. You only have whatever comes in. So maybe we just had beginner's luck, you know? It's really hard. With shortwave, you have to also be very patient and you have to be very consistent. I make it a point in the evening. Okay, that's the station we heard before. But look how clean it is. Okay, that's Arabic. Yeah, I recognize. That's not the same station as before, actually. So I recognize the Arabic here. Cool. All right, let's not go. Yeah, that's the thing. I could now sit for an hour and find stations. It's really, really cool when you find something. Another thing I want to point out before we go on to the very last module. So what I'm doing here, right? I had this guy, I have this guy, I have this guy. And they're all going into I really like this module. Shout out the Mutant Hot Glue by Hex Inverter. I mean, now it's Erica Synths are doing the reissue, but whatever, this is the original. So I'm using it as a mixer. I'm mixing them in, but then I'm and this is really a must, like especially with shortwave, you're going to have so much noise. And let's talk about that noise really quickly before we filter out that noise. So hum, it's not just about the all the crap that this guy picked up. We heard hum probably as well. But sometimes what can happen with shortwave, and you won't hear it while you're searching for a station, but you hit a station, and as soon as you hit a station, you hear like woo, tons of hum. And that could even happen, like I caught BBC World, and I caught tons of hum. And I don't think the BBC World transmits with tons of hum. So what is going on here is something different, right? So basically what happens is, with shortwave, is all the stuff here is actually receiving and picking up whatever my actual antenna is picking up. Other stuff here is picking it up. Metal, anything metal is basically can pick up stuff. And some of these things are amplifying it again and again and again and again. So you really kind of have like this insane hum that can come in, and it can be power lines in your neighborhood. It can be, again, modular. It can be like, I have all these LEDs here, but I actually did check it out, you know, like it's kind of hard to find the culprit sometimes, but you could get a lot of hum. You could try to fix it by finding the culprit, or you could try to filter it. In any case, let's go to the filtering. So of course you have, this comes in very, very dirty. So let's put it back in. And even now it's still, okay, now we don't have a station, but even if we did have a station, it still comes in with a lot of dirt, and sometimes it's really hard to understand what they're saying. So of course you probably need a chain of filters. So I'm not actually using them all right now, but I have a high pass here, and then I have an EQ here, and I have, like, for the other stuff, I have another EQ, and yeah, some usually actually use more filters. Band pass, dual band passes come in very handy, where one may be doing low and one may be doing high, and then an additional high pass, and then you maybe kind of get somewhere. Yeah, okay, maybe an additional low pass just to take the very top off. So yeah, like 4 or 5 filters, don't be shy if you have them. Like it's kind of a must. So this is not a bad module. FM works amazing, shortwave works amazing. Let's talk about AM again in the very end. Okay, this Koma Field Kit, how much does it cost? Let's have a look. So that costs 275 euros. It's very much worth it because of all the other things. So I don't know if it's the best radio. It's probably not, because we have this guy. Okay, yeah. another EQ. Use every EQ that you can, guys. But yeah, this is actually not bad. Up to you. Module, what's my favorite one? So this is definitely my favorite one. This was actually turned off because for this one, if I had this turned on, like I should have shown it actually, if I turn this on and off, the level of noise coming out of this one increases and decreases. So it's literally picking up this other case. And I actually know that this tip-top audio, it's actually pretty clean, the power supply. So it's not like it's a real culprit here or something. It's just this one is just super sensitive. It's just that's it. That's all there is to it. All right. So last one. So this is the VCRadio from XAudio Systems. Less HP than this guy. Here it's kind of hard to compare. It's not a very fat module. It has a kind of cool factor with its antenna that comes in over here. I actually also like this antenna because I'm clipping in an additional antenna to this is super simple. Like I really just have to go like this, and then I take the one that I want, and so this is actually super nice. Again, for FM it's not really needed, so I don't know, let's go to FM first. And here there's another cool thing. There's this LED over here that lights up when you hit a station, and it does that also on AM and shortwave, and it comes in really handy. So now it lit up, and if I now pull up my volume, I should be hearing a station. Which one is it? Yeah, it's this one. Cool. And on FM, you sometimes get stereo channels. This has a left and a right for some reason, and the sum. I don't know, I don't use this feature, but whatever. Here, look, right now. So we have station and we have stereo. Not bad. All right. Another cool thing about this one is if I go to shortwave here, you will notice that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ranges of shortwave. So these are different like frequency ranges where this one kind of, then you have this band that just basically goes on that specific set range over set with the top button. And that actually really helps. So first of all, you get a lot of range overall because of these, and you also get kind of the granularity that is maybe missing in the other ones, at least to some extent. And it kind of gets interesting. And together with the station, it's usually kind of the easiest for me to catch things over on this one. So let's try it. So again, it's trial and error. Maybe we catch something really cool. Maybe we catch nothing tonight. But so it's this one. Oops, you see, and the thing is, it's cool here because you're sweeping, you won't hear anything. But if you go slow, now we had a light. So now we know, okay, there should be something here. Let's try to find it. Cool, we didn't find it, whatever, let's go. I know there's more on band 5 and 6 here. There we go. This is Chinese. No? Is it? No, it's not Chinese. Is it? I'm not exactly sure what language this is. This is actually super cool. So we're on this station. You hear the hum, by the way? Woo. So this is coming from somewhere here. I can try to kill it. I probably won't succeed all the way, but to some extent. So with this one, you can see I'm catching a lot of stuff. And I'm kind of going fast, and I'm still catching things. The station buttons keep lighting up. I can look in the other bands. So of course, not all of them are going to be clean. Not all of them are going to be interesting, and not all of them. There's Arabic again. Really cool. So this one, I'm really, as you can see, I'm finding a lot of stuff, and I can really try to tune in. I can kind of really try to fine tune, and really, if I really want to now have a session and record some stuff, I can get where I want with this one. So overall, this one, it costs 150 euros. I think it's the best one to get out of, well, again, we said the Coma Field Kit is worth it, but if you want the radio that really behaves well, this is the one to get. It behaves the best. Again, with the CV, all of them kind of do it. So I wasn't showing it on this one, but you could get also You could also do the same thing I did here, where I can push in the mod wheel and kind of try to get even more granular to really fine tune into a station. But again, having the LED here, I already know kind of when I catch a station. So the last thing to discuss before we finish, I mean this, yeah. So winner, like TLDR, this is the winner. This is the interesting one. They all are, but this is the one. Before we finish, so AM radio, again, this one doesn't have it. These two have it. It's a little bit annoying because the antennas for AM radio kind of tend to be set up a little bit different. So on this one, you have to take, as I did here, you have to put one wire into the first one, make a loop, and then put it back into the grounding over here. And then you'll get much better reception, at least supposedly. You know what? I didn't even do it because I don't like this, I want my permanent setup with my tape here, and I don't want to touch it. So I don't want to be every time, oh no, let's try FM and do this shit. I don't know. So this is a bit disappointing. Same with this one. I don't like the antenna, the whole thing, it's not set up for AM because FM and shortwave kind of use the same antennas, and AM uses a different antenna. So I don't know. I haven't been able to catch anything on AM seriously with either of these, like anything that of value. All right, so I guess that's it. I hope you took something from this, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. I want to do so many more experiments and learn how to use antennas better, and yeah. The cool thing is having all three. If I have a good night with this one, all three going into the mixer, all three finding a channel, into some reverb, into some more reverb, I don't know, and then maybe some pedals and the whole thing recorded as one. So there's something interesting here probably to find. All right, see you later.